Hi, welcome to BRAHM, or Blowing Rocks Art and History Museum. I'm Jennifer Goranczyk, the Education Center Director here at BRAHM, and I'm here to lead you on a virtual field trip. Today's exhibition is the Blowing Rock Plein Air Festival exhibit, and we are going to look in particular at two pieces done for the Blowing Rock Plein Air Festival by artist Jeremy Sams. This is Blue Ridge Harmony. And artist Kyle Buckland. His piece is called Morning on Goshen Creek. Go ahead and get handy a piece of paper, or if you have a printout of a Venn diagram or two interlocking circles, that will be helpful when making notes as we compare and contrast these two works. Recently, BRAHM held our third annual Blowing Rock Plein Air Festival. The term plein air is French for painting outdoors. Each year, artists come to Blowing Rock to paint in our beautiful outdoor spaces. This year, two artist friends, Kyle Buckland and Jeremy Sams, spent an afternoon painting a small stream off of the Blue Ridge Parkway, Goshen Creek. We are going to look closely at their two paintings and compare and contrast their works. Here we see their paintings side by side. Let's talk about what is the same in each piece. You will notice they are both in black frames with gold trim. Each painting is a medium, horizontal, rectangular size and shape. The subject of each painting is the same: the cascading waters of Goshen Creek. Both paintings show light sparkling on the moving water and the overhanging trees and bushes along the creek. Both paintings show the mossy rocks and other foliage near the creek. Now, let's look more closely and notice what is different in the two paintings. Jeremy's painting is longer and shorter in what we would call a more panoramic horizontal format. It is made with acrylic paints, while Kyle's painting is painted with oil paints. If you look very closely, you can see that the artists were standing in slightly different spots, so their paintings show slightly different viewpoints of the creek. The most noticeable difference, however, is in how the painters express their vision of the scene and apply the paints. While Jeremy's painting is what we call realist, it looks almost like a photograph. Kyle has worked in a more impressionist style. He uses small dots and dash marks of pure paint colors instead of blending the colors smoothly with brushstrokes. If you look from a side, you can even see the texture that this impressionist style creates on the canvas. When you zoom in very closely, the dots and dashes of color don't make much sense to our eye. But then when you view a larger section of the painting, you see our eyes will make sense of these shapes and name them as rocks, trees, or water. Kyle Buckland had this to say about his experience with this particular painting. It always amazes me to see how two artists can set up in the same location and paint two completely different looking pieces. I think it's our job as artists to interpret a scene rather than to copy it. If we wanted an exact copy, we could easily take a photograph of the scene, but that's not what painting is all about. Jeremy and I were both drawn to different aspects of the scene and painted it accordingly. A painter is essentially a storyteller, and every artist has a unique story to tell. Our painting becomes a record of our own personal experience while at the location. I've always been attracted to strong colors and thick, expressive brushstrokes. When I get to a scene I want to paint, I think about how I can best use the colors and brushstrokes to convey a sense of energy and movement in my painting. It becomes less about the actual subject matter and more about the vibrant energy of nature. Although a scene like this doesn't have a lot of strong colors in it, I used artistic license to exaggerate certain colors in the painting. Working en plein air or on location helps artists connect to their subject firsthand and allows them to translate a scene and paint how a subject feels to them, rather than only painting what it actually looks like. This is one of the main reasons I love painting en plein air. Here is Jeremy Sam's artist statement. As a representational artist who works in acrylics, my primary goal is to capture on canvas the wonder and awe of God's creation, along with the scene's emotional impact. In order to achieve this, it is of utmost importance for me to spend time studying and painting the particular scene on location, en plein air, to experience the sounds, the smells, the cool breeze or the humid air, and the movements of wind and shadows. All of these elements play a role in the emotional reaction we may have to a particular place. I'm most often moved by the dance of light and shadow in a scene, along with the varying color temperatures in the atmosphere that fills the space between the object and myself. I try with every finished work to maintain the integrity of the scene while at the same time breathing life into it. The challenge is often not to recreate every little detail, but to merely offer a suggestion so as to not lose the primary focus. If I can do this and achieve a desired emotional reaction within the viewer, then I consider it a successful painting. Now let's take a few moments. Complete your Venn diagram to compare and contrast these two paintings of Goshen Creek. Now let's look at two more paintings from the 2020 Blowing Rock Plein Air Festival. Cloudy with a Chance of Rain by Jeremy Sams, and Misty Morning on Main Street by Rachel Dowd. You may also complete a Venn diagram to compare and contrast and organize your thoughts of these two paintings, both set in downtown Blowing Rock. Your teacher may ask you to write a short essay about either of these pairs of artwork. Thanks for joining me today for a virtual field trip at BRAHM. I hope that you will be able to visit the museum in person at 159 Jenny Stevens Lane, Blowing Rock, North Carolina, or online at www.blowingrockmuseum.org.